I'm presenting about the Human Resource Management Diploma program. My name's Holly Friesen. Currently, I'm the basically main instructor for this second year of this program. I instruct a couple other courses in office admin and also business admin first year courses as well, but most of my load is human resource management. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. So I'll talk a bit about just like the profession itself first, and then about our program specifically. So first, if you're not too sure what all HR professionals do, what's involved, um, there's just a little blurb here. So basically, facilitating the effective use of human resources to help the company achieve its goals. So you're giving advice to all levels within the company about managing their human resources. So that could be something like your employee recruitment and retention programs, actually choosing the candidates that you end up hiring, maybe professional development for your employees, and lots of other HR type of programs, developing, administering them. So all that kind of stuff. So why might you want to pursue a career in HR? A bunch of different reasons. So before I came to the college as an instructor, I worked in HR for about 10 years. So some of this is just my personal opinion. Some of it is, popular opinion based on research I found online. Most people would say they like uh, working in HR because they get to work with people. So, and not necessarily uh, like a frontline, in a service type of industry or something like healthcare like that, but more on the back end, right? So you're working with your employees, not necessarily customers or uh, patients or something like that, clients internally with your employees. Uh, so if you like that, then you might like it to work in HR. Another thing is every day is different. Hi, Shannon. I'm just started here. I'm only about on my second slide, so you haven't missed much. I'm just talking first about the actual HR profession itself, and then I'll talk about our program. So I'm just talking about why people might want to go uh, pursue a career in HR. So what was I saying? Every day is different. So it's not a very rote job. You're not just doing the same thing every day. You're not, doing data entry or something like that. There might be some level of that, but basically no day is the same necessarily. So if you like kind of variety in your work, you like to have different challenges, then you might like HR. Next is you get to solve problems. So again, if you're kind of more of a people person, you want to um, be helpful, but maybe not necessarily in a super frontline way, then you might like HR. You get to help your employees, you get to help the employer side, whatever kind of problems they might have. That could be a bunch of different things. um, Next, the opportunity to be a positive influence in your company. So if you, again, like to be that helpful person, um, to kind of everyone, in my opinion, like you're there to help employees, you're there to help management, you're there to help all levels. If you want the opportunity to be that kind of helpful, positive person in your company, maybe you'll like HR. And kind of the last thing I have listed there is you help employees in lots of different ways. So again, it's about variety a bit, about um, being in touch with people. So maybe they're a new person and you're helping them with their onboarding paperwork. If it's a current employee, maybe they're getting married and so they have changes to do with that or having a baby. Uh, even in maybe kind of sadder times in an employee's life, maybe you're helping them, they have, say, an illness or something going on, they need to be off of work, something like that. You're kind of their front person, bridging between them and the company. So those are just some of kind of my opinion and a bit of popular opinion. So here we have just different kind of titles or positions you might hear of in relation to HR. The titles themselves are kind of all over the place. It kind of depends on the company, size of the company. So you could be called lots of different things: an HR officer, HR administrator, supervisor, consultant, generalist, anything like that. You could have a more specific position, like if you're just a training officer dealing with kind of employee training or professional development, maybe specifically recruitment. That would be probably a bigger company uh, where you could have someone dedicated to recruitment. If it's a smaller company, you might just be kind of one of these general HR officer, HR administrator types, and you'd be doing a bunch of different things rather than just recruitment. Um, Employee relations officer or industrial relations officer. Industrial relations, that refers to like unionized work environments. So again, it would have to be probably a pretty big organization or company to have a dedicated industrial relations officer. But that could happen. Smaller companies, working in HR, you might also do some payroll as well, kind of having to do both hats there. Not always. Like I never did payroll myself. When I worked in HR, we had separate people taking care of payroll. But if it is a pretty small company, you could end up doing both. Another thing that gets lumped in together with HR in companies is health and safety type of role. So you might maybe have a little bit of that responsibility on your plate as well. So those are just different kind of titles. So how do these jobs look as far as outlook? So these are Alberta stats specifically. This is from the ALICE website, Alberta. What does ALICE stand for? Alberta Learning Information System, something like that. ALIS. They split HR positions into kind of two different categories, so that's why there's two different sets of numbers here. So for the one, annual growth of 1.8%, and in addition to turnover, 212 new positions created each year. And the other kind of category, they have growth of 2% with 58 positions created every year. And that's all on top of turnover. And turnover is also expected to increase because we have our baby boomer generation retiring as well. So it is, as a profession, it is good, this kind of growth outlook, right? So it's not saying that the profession's in decline in the province. So, uh, meaning there should be jobs available of some type if you were to take our program. So this also comes from the Alice website. This is in Alberta average income for HR professional positions. So they have it broken down by starting position, overall positions, or kind of top end there. And then they have the low, fifth, kind of bottom 5%, high, top 5%, your averages, and your median. So basically, we'll say average starting wage about 36.60 an hour. Overall average wage 43.66 an hour, and kind of the top end there average 51.63 an hour. So it is, in my opinion, it's pretty decent as far as pay goes. Certainly not, we're not down in the minimum wage area, so definitely decent wage potential. Okay, so that was all about the profession itself. So now I'll go into a bit about the program. So the HR Diploma program at Northern Lakes would be uh, you continue on after getting a business admin certificate. So you would get your business admin certificate, which is a 1 year, 30 credit program, and then take another 30 credits in HR specifically. So you end up with 60 credits in a diploma. So you're kind of building off of some of the stuff you learn in business admin certificate, but more specialized to the HR field. Oh, excuse my cat here. If you hear her. So our program will also help prepare you to write the National Knowledge Exam if you ever wanted to go on and get the Chartered Professional in HR designation. That's like a national designation, CPHR. It's not something you need to work in HR, but some places like, they would prefer to hire someone with this designation, or they might hire you without it and then want you to move towards it. Um, Go like while working for them. But so you need at a minimum a diploma to pursue that designation. So our diploma program would satisfy that requirement. Uh, and the stuff that you learn in the program would help you write the exam that you have to take for this designation. Again, not something that's required, but just some info for you. So the way we run the program right now, so after you do your 30 credit 1 year business admin certificate, we're currently only offering this, the HR 30 credits on a part-time basis. So it would take you 2 years. You could do 15 credits the 1 year, 15 credits the next year. You could do it slower than that, even if you wanted. That's up to you. But the fastest you could do that is that part-time for 2 years. So on top of the business admin certificate in total, then it would take 3 school years to finish. So we use NLC anytime, anywhere. So we use, oh, I should have changed this slide. It's not Blackboard Collaborate anymore. It's now Bongo, which is this software that we're in right now. We use D2L. That's our learning management system. We use other publisher programs like Top Hat, things like that. So it's a total of 10 courses. And so we offer 2 in the fall semester, 2 in the winter semester, and a condensed one in the spring. So 5 a year. So 5 1 year, 5 the next year. Then there's also an optional employment practicum that students can do also in the spring semester. But that's optional. You don't need to take that to graduate. You can get your parchment without it, but it is there. Like maybe you're not currently working and you want to get kind of your foot in the door somewhere. So you're going to do an unpaid practicum. That's totally up to the student. Prerequisites. So I mentioned this already, but so you need to have business admin certificate, 30 credits, or equivalent. So it doesn't have to be NLC's business admin certificate. If you've taken business courses at a different institution, then you can look into transferring those over to get into this HR diploma for the second year. This is a little kind of cost breakdown. This is just a fee estimate for right now. I don't think the tuition fees are set for next year yet, but this is what they are this year, basically. So they may go up slightly next year. So based on this year's costs, if you took the full what is offered, 2 in the fall, 2 in the winter, 1 in the spring, it'd be about $2,500. So $977 each fall and winter, $521 in the spring. So around 2,500. Books is separate from that. Students buy their own books for the courses, but they are not too expensive. I think the most expensive one we've had maybe a little over $100 in these 10 courses. They're not too bad though. And it also, because it is part-time, so if you're only taking 2 or 1 a semester, the books aren't too bad there. So these are the ones that are being offered this current school year. So in the fall, we just had communications and information management and an intro to HR development. Winter, the semester we're currently in, compensation and reward systems, and employee and labor relations. And then coming up in the spring is occupational health, safety, and wellness. So that's one other thing I should mention because we do offer a spring course in this program. Someone could start as soon as May 1st, 2024. If you were interested in this program and you wanted to apply, you don't have to wait until September to start. You can start right in spring, May 2024. So that is there. If that doesn't work, you want to wait till September, that's totally fine as well. The kind of content of these courses is pretty self-explanatory by most of their titles. OH&S, that's pretty self-explanatory. This employee and labor relations, that's a lot about unionized workplaces. Compensation and rewards, that's about, pay and benefits. Communications, that's pretty self-explanatory. We do some presentations in that course just to get students used to presenting, because you might be called on to present sometimes as an HR professional, presenting to your employees some type of information. Intro to HR, that's pretty standard. It kind of dips into all these other ones a little bit. So for next year, what is going to be offered is the other 5 courses. So in the fall, recruitment and selection. So that's about kind of the hiring process. Employment law, that's specific to Alberta and BC. So, the different things about employment standards or human rights law or that kind of stuff. Next winter, training, development, and performance management. So that's about kind of learning at work. Strategic HR planning and management. That one is kind of about a little bit more from the management side, like how to plan for the company, kind of, what you're going to need as far as employees go, that kind of thing. And then next spring, negotiations and conflict resolution. So that it's more heavy on the conflict resolution part. So all things kind of you would need to know and be able to use if you were to work in an HR profession. So why should you consider this program at NLC? So this program does allow you to complete your education anytime, anywhere. So we use, if you're familiar with our kind of style, we have the supported distance learning model where you do have the instructor, which would be me, available, right, for any questions, that type of thing. You could definitely have a job in HR before taking the classes. That's definite. And I see that quite a bit with my current students. Lots of them tend to kind of, I don't want to say fall into, but they end up in an HR type of position and they want to know more kind of about how to do their job well type of thing. So they might end up in an HR job, but then they don't necessarily know a ton about employment law, or they don't know a ton about hiring and that kind of stuff. So I do see that quite a bit. Lots of my students are already working in HR. And even myself, back when I did work in HR, I got the job in HR before I had taken any of the courses. I was working, say, at a school division, and I worked in a different department, like student services, and an opening came up in HR, so I moved over into that position without kind of really having all the knowledge that maybe I needed or wanted. So then I took courses after that. So definitely, for sure, you can have a job in HR first. Either way, you can do it, kind of the job and then the schooling, or the schooling then the job. So as I was saying, oh yeah, so we have our supported distance learning model here, if you're familiar with us. Some courses might be offered synchronously, so kind of live like this. but they're all recorded, just like this session here is being recorded. So students can watch them later on after the fact if they are not available for a live session. Lots of courses in the HR program are what we call asynchronous. So there is no live times, but for those ones, uh, I go through and I post videos about, like I'll post a video about each chapter, post a video about each assignment, that kind of things that students can watch when they are available. So, and then, we have the D2L, which is our learning management system, where we post things like assignment instructions or post those videos like I talked about, or PowerPoint slides, or whatever the case may be. I always think the second point is kind of funny here. Our instructors are supportive, understanding, and knowledgeable. I feel kind of funny saying that about myself, but I mean, it is true, myself and my colleagues. And the last thing here is this, our program does transfer into a degree program. So if you're not sure, like say you don't want to jump straight into a degree program, maybe you want to test the waters with a diploma first, you can do that with us. And then say if you did want to continue on after, you can transfer to Athabasca University. So we have a transfer agreement right now. Students can transfer 60 credits towards a few different of their programs: Bachelor of General Studies, Bachelor of Human Resources, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Management. So a bunch of different programs there. You can basically get 60 credits and then finish a degree there. So that's a bonus too. And this is my last slide. So this just gives you my information if you had any more questions you wanted to, or I'll take questions now too, but that's my college phone number, my college email there. So I'm the instructor. We also have a program administrator, Kelsey Kinney. She's our administrator for all the business programs. So this HR program, business admin certificate, office admin certificate, and computer network specialist. I just put her information here because if you have questions about, she's more to do with say like enrollment. She's not admissions as much. She's kind of after admissions. If you had questions about like transfer credits, say, uh, like whether you would meet the prerequisite of the 30 credit business admin certificate. I mean, if it's our business admin certificate, obviously that counts. But if say you had business admin certificate from somewhere else and you were unsure whether that would qualify as a prerequisite, Chelsea's more the person that would know about that. And that's my last slide. Thank you so much for joining me today.
So yes, thank you again, and everyone have a great evening. Bye.